Hello, we are live here on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Welcome everybody who's joining us for this incredible launch celebration of Inspired Connections. I'm here with the authors of Inspired Connections. We're just going to do a big wave and a big hello. And congratulations for hitting number one in 13 categories in Australia so far. I know, right? Yes, including hypnosis, inner child, spirituality, education, and some more. And we're already sitting on number 2 in the UK, and we haven't even officially opened yet. So that is phenomenal. Let me introduce myself very briefly. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Crystal Hill. I'm the founder of Hill House Publishing. This is our book number 7, and we have a complete track record of hitting consistent international number 1 bestsellers in at least 3 to 5 countries. And I think we're on track to hitting number 5 because we've got a German in the house, and she will help us with that. Our mission here really is to bring contributors together who have a bigger purpose, who are here to really make a difference in the world, who are here to raise the vibration on the planet. And with this book, we've gathered incredible women and one man who are here to help us improve our relationships, looking at how do we Tracy, can you mute yourself, or somebody who's got this background there so we can get a clear sound. Thank you. So yeah, how can we improve our relationships? How can we really tap into inspired connections in with ourselves and with our lives? So that's what we're here to do. We're here to awaken and empower humanity. That is certainly our mission at Hill House Publishing. So with that said, I'd love to introduce you to the authors. Why don't we start with Bea Marie? Why don't you tell us who you are, where you're from, and why you joined this book?
Hello, hello, hello. This is so exciting. Okay, yes, my name is Bea Marie Anine, and I'm a holistic success coach, which means that I help and elevate soul-driven people, humans, to really step into their full expression, their most authentic self, and create the success that they have always wanted in their lives. Yes. And so when this opportunity of joining a book came along, I was already on the journey of writing a book for about 2 years. I was trying, and then I went back, and it was like, yeah, no, no. And then a friend of mine suggested that I go to a card reader, and she pulled a card and was like, so you should write a book. I was like, what? And since that was already in my mind, I was like, okay, this is kind of like a sign, but I didn't really believe in cards. So it was like, yeah, anybody can say that. But then a friend of mine published, hey, I'm a number 1 bestseller and you should meet Crystal. And I was like, oh, okay, that's another sign there. And then another friend told me, you know what? That story is so good. You should make a book out of it. I was like, okay, 3 in a row. I'm going to call Crystal. And then I jumped on the call with Crystal and she told me about Inspired Connections. And that was like, yes, that is what the story is about. That is what I want to bring into this world. So there was, after 3 signs and the title and the topic, it was a no-brainer to join. And the process was incredible. The process itself was incredible because I never considered myself a writer. I always thought I cannot write. I cannot write on social media. I cannot write a blog. I just don't have the train of thoughts that I can follow. I just go all over the place all the time. And with Crystal's guidance, it was so easy. She made it so easy for me to write, and in her loving way just directed me how to get to the root of what I wanted to say. And there were so many videos and so many tutorials also to follow. And when I had questions, there was always somebody to answer. And so it was like, yes. And now it's here.
Now it's here.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Jenny, would you like to introduce yourself next? Who you are?
Sure thing. Hello, everybody. And gosh, thank you for taking us to number 1. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Universe. Thank you, everyone who's bought this book and now is about to impact your lives or impact someone who you know. I'm a business consultant at heart. I help entrepreneurs to maximize their profits as they grow and expand their business. And it's one of the most fun things I enjoy doing. And the reason I started that was because I embarked on believing, having absurd self-belief about my zones of genius. And it's something that I live by till today, because I spent 20 years of my life waiting for someone to tell me that I'm good enough, that I'm freaking awesome. And sometimes it didn't happen. I wouldn't hear those words for 5 years when the economy was bad. Hey, Jenny, you're freaking awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. It was another conversation altogether. And so that's why I see now it's still an issue. We're waiting for someone to validate us, someone to tell us that we matter. And I'm like, screw that. Let me do that for myself. Let me feel and appreciate my awesomeness. And I write it in the book. I want to revel in the splendor that is me. That is this awkward, beautiful, crazy, loud being that is me. And if I'm having so much fun, and sometimes weird fun where I'm laughing at and with myself as I do this thing called life, I wanted to share that with everyone who wanted to know how to do it, give them that code. I did that with my clients and I did that with my team, and I see the difference. I met Crystal through that process of expanding and believing in my zones of genius. And when we started working together in her business, she got it, and we just vibed. And it was in one of those sessions when we were talking about her business, and she was she was talking to me about Inspired Connections. And I said, so where do I sign up? And that's how...
Yeah, it was like suddenly the whole you coaching me on my business turned into, Crystal, tell me more about this. And it suddenly turned into the other way around. It suddenly turned into us talking about you joining the book. It was so funny. And it almost started off as a role play because you wanted to know more, right? And then it's like, oh yeah, where do I sign?
Yeah. And I remember listening to her talking about this book, and I felt this yearning in my heart. Like, this is the moment. This was the call to share this message about zones of genius. Because I saw the impact on my clients, and I saw the impact on Crystal and my team. I'm like, do more of that. Don't focus on what you're not good at. That's someone else's zones of genius. Focus on what you're really good at. And that's where we are. And now I'm so excited, zones of genius. I can't stop talking about it, clearly. And for me to have it in a book has been just a boon, a blessing, unintended. So thank you.
And when we're in our zone of genius, we can create these really, truly inspired connections, right?
Oh, when you can live in so much power with yourself, like, who can faze you? Life can throw curveballs and life will continue, but who can faze you? You actually have a great filter on BS that you hear because you know yourself. That's powerful. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, we've heard from Germany. We've heard from Singapore. Let's go over to Mauritius. Nandita, welcome. Tell us a little bit about you and your chapter in this book. Just take yourself off mute. I can help you. Here we go.
I'm a spiritual life coach, energy healer, and I've published a book this January. And since this morning, my God, I'm having that surge of energy. Like, I've cried this morning. I didn't feel the same when I published my first book, Personal Development Guidebook, Ask Your Soul the Answers. But the way I am feeling for this book, Inspired Connection, it's a reminder how to get back to my true best version, how to truly raise my vibration. So when I was preparing for my launching of my previous book, I was asking the universe to help me for the launching, but there were so many obstacles, and the universe was saying there's something much better for you coming up. and I wasn't seeing it. It was by chance that I saw Crystal post on Tyson group, and I was like, it was big when it appeared in my newsfeed. I was like, is that the calling? And it's related to my chapter, answering the calling, get up and do it. It was loud, but I refused at I refused it, and then later I kept dreaming about Crystal. It was like the universe is saying, you have to work with Crystal. Forget about your launching. That's not important. Crystal is waiting for you. So I'm so thankful that I've been part of this book. I had to write about lots of things, like in the past, what I have kept hidden. I was afraid to write about my childhood, about what I've been through, but it's been a healing process so far. And my message for the audience, it's not only for the readers, it's mostly for me as well, like how I can stay in alignment with who I am, with my values, with my soul mission. So I'm very happy to be part of this book, and I'm just waiting for it to be live in Mauritius right now. So yeah, that's a bit about me. And I thank Jenny because we had a wonderful conversation a lot yesterday, and it's like Jenny has spoken to my soul. So yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, you made two really important points. One is that, overcoming our fears of, can I really share this? And when we do, when we tap in, the power of writing is so transformational. And it releases, like, what happens is that when we write a chapter and then we're witnessed in our journey, any shame that may still have been there just suddenly disappears, because shame can only exist in a vacuum. But once we open that lid, it disappears, and our story becomes part of the universal story. And everyone, and this is for the readers, for those of you listening, you will find yourself in the stories of every single person that's contributed. And you will learn and discover more about yourself through their stories. And that's what I love so much about this work. So thank you, Nandita, for sharing that.
I would like to add something. I used to believe that this is my comfort zone. I am safe here and everything is perfect. But when we stay idle in stillness, we don't grow. So my message for everyone who's listening, get out of your comfort zone, because you believe this is the safe place, but it's actually the most dangerous place to be. So the universe will kick you many times, you will fall down, but we are here as inspired connection to kick you, to raise your vibration. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Tracy, let's move over to you. Let's come back all the way back to Australia. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Tracy Corman. I'm a matchmaker Australia-wide since 1995, and I'm also a qualified counsellor. I specialise in mental health, trauma and relationship issues. And what an exciting day. I was invited about a year ago to get involved with a book with Crystal. And when I spoke with Crystal, I thought, yes, she's somebody that I would like to work with, and she's somebody that I would work with. And of course, the name Inspired Connections, well, wow. And yeah, what an exciting day. And I'm very passionate about people learning more about how to have relationships that are successful and last, because as we all know, there's so many relationships that fail and cause so much trauma and distress for people in their lives. So with more people learning how to have happy, healthy, lasting relationships, even not just romantic relationships, family, friends, just improving relationships, and of course, couples as well. Well, then what a better world we'll live in when people know how to do that.
Exactly. Now, what I love in your chapter is that you don't just share your journey, but you're also giving some really tangible tips on how we can do that are very simple, but sometimes we need reminding of what they are. So Would you like to share, just in a nutshell, just one tip?
Yes. So one tip is when people are dating, or even just in life, if not to overshare, particularly when they're meeting somebody for the first time. So no oversharing, no spending 15 minutes talking about your exes and your past failed relationships and all that went with that. Don't do that, because there's no mystery then about you. There's nothing else to learn about you. The person who's sitting opposite you might want to step away and you want them to lean forward and get to know you more. So oversharing, there's so many people that do it. And what we need to do is hold back and not sort of, just let it all out and into a stranger that, you're just meeting for the first time. They don't want to hear about all of that, really. So you want to talk about uplifting things and ask them things about themselves and just keep it light and yes, share a little bit and that's it. Because then there's mystery about you and somebody wants to get to know you more. They don't know your life story.
Yes.
And I just
beautiful.
want to say, I've had more success for my clients than in my own personal life. And after writing this chapter, I feel for the first time in my life that it's absolutely okay, that my journey with relationships, it's absolutely okay. It's just my journey and it's all good. So what a blessing.
Yes, that's beautiful. See, another healing that happened through this. Another one of these intangible benefits, completely unexpected. So thank you for sharing that. So from the matchmaking queen to Elizabeth, also in Australia, who is writing in her chapter about how she found the love of her life. Over to you, Elizabeth.
I know, isn't that's so funny that one after the other. So I'm Elizabeth Eleanor, and I am the founder of Women of Light movement community. And yeah, basically I work with women to support them to create the life that they truly wish to create and let go of all of the limitations that hold them back from experiencing that, the conditions and the beliefs and the emotions that hold us back from really experiencing our full potential and capacity. And I usually do that with just business women, but I am actually using that because business women are the ones that actually have their focus on business and often other parts of their life that they're out of whack, or like they're not balancing very well, and relationships are one of them, or their health or their stress levels or their finances or whatever can go to the wayside while they're trying to work on their business. So it works in all facets. So yeah, my chapter is about how I met my beautiful partner at the beach. We were the only two on the beach, and it was a very romantic experience, and it was all orchestrated by the universe. But Crystal, I was just listening to everybody else talk, and I remembered that actually the way we connected was an inspired connection. I just remembered because, and I don't even remember who the woman was, but I remember that there was a Facebook post and someone was asking to find somewhere to live, or they needed to move really quickly or something. And it was somewhere in Sydney. And so a friend of mine tagged me in it. And so I got to know this other woman. We never physically met, but through that little interaction of being tagged on a Facebook post, you and I met because this woman's a friend of yours. And so talk about inspiration. And yeah, I just thought about that. I'm like, wow, isn't that how it all comes around, right?
It's really those little beautiful synchronicities that the universe gives us. And many of you have talked about how these connections happened and the power of three and the dreams. And yeah, just following the inspiration, I think, is really when we when we create more inspired connections. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I would love to go around the circle again and just feeling into what your intention is for the reader with this book, for the reader, for the world. What impact do you hope this book will make? Jenny, let's start with you this time.
Where do I start? When I heard everyone's stories, when I heard all our intentions for this book, what I discovered was we want hope. We want to give hope through our stories. We want someone to know that we've been where they are and they're not alone. That we have cracked the code and you can use it, you can adopt it wholly or adapt it. And for me, that's really what I want, because I know what it's like to not feel hope. I went through a very dark period of my life. And when I came out of it, boy, I said the first thing is, I wish this on no one else. No one else, not even my worst enemy. I have no idea how I went through that without hope. There was some form of faith that was holding me safe and sacred. But I couldn't feel it or see it then, because I was really in such a deep hole that I couldn't see it for myself. And I hoped that by liberating you to be your full, natural, awesome self, that you get to celebrate this awesome splendor that you are, that you find what is it that you're meant to do, who is it you're meant to be, and enjoy being that person. And as a result, discover other phenomena about you, other things that were not visible to you. For me, the process of writing this book, doing my zones of genius, is I realize now, I thought I don't like to write. I'm a terrible writer. Turns out I'm a great writer. Crystal will verify that.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a powerful journey, isn't it? Because it's an innate skill and we all have it, but we've been conditioned to believe that we don't have it because of schooling. But what I always say is, like, as long, you don't have to be a writer to be an author. As long as you have a passion for the story that you will share, it'll just come out through the processes that we have, that we can help with. Yeah. So thank
Exactly.
you.
So find your path. Find your path that is uniquely yours. You don't have to do it like everyone else. Find yours. And you will find people who are on a similar path. That's the funny thing. I'm with 18 people who are on a similar path. And I bet you good money, it's relationships for life. I know that. We've made that connection already. So you're going to find your tribe. Wherever it is right now, know that for fact. And it's just going to get louder.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jenny. Let's move to Bea Marie. What is your intention for the reader with this book?
So when I wrote that chapter, I felt like this was only me. I felt alone in a way, that I was the only failure in this world, that only I did not achieve what I wanted to achieve, what I set out to achieve. And through writing and through sharing my process, I discovered that, oh my God, there are so many others. There are so many others who have the same doubts, who have the same fears, who have the same blockages in a way. And so I want the reader just to know that that's okay. That is your journey. You are on this journey of self-discovery, if you're actively on it or not. But you have this life to discover yourself. You have this life to discover your true nature, your true beauty. And you don't have to fit into anybody's expectations. We have been programmed so much from society, from our parents, with their best interest, to become versions of us that we are maybe not truly. So you have this chance to really discover who you are and take off the masks, take off the layers that are blocking you from being your most authentic self, from being your true self. And I want to invite you just to embrace your weirdness and to, when you feel like it, bust a move on the street, laugh out loud when you're in public transportation, because that inspires others to become their most authentic self and be themselves in the moment. So if you have a chance to really dig deep, and I know you do, and I know that maybe you are afraid to, take that risk because it's so beautiful. You are so beautiful when you are truly in connection with your gift, with yourself, with your heart. And this is what my chapter is about. It's an inspiration of how to really tap into yourself and get in alignment with your true nature.
Beautiful. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Nandita, what about you? What is your intention for the reader, for the world with this book? Hang on. Okay, start from the beginning. Still not here.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I was saying there are too many things that I would love to highlight. It can take hours to talk about that, but answering the calling, get up and do it, is a calling to my own self, my divine self, something that I was ignoring before. And when I've written, like you mentioned, we don't really need to be a writer to be an author, but when I started writing, it was near midnight, and the universe said it was time to start writing. And it was like I was writing deep from my soul. I was speaking to my soul, where I discovered that I used to see, love, seek for validation, approval from outside forces. Where I've discovered that my journey is all about me, how I'm merging with my higher self, how I'm loving myself no matter what. And like I mentioned, no matter what, to the good of all, to the harm of none, we can do everything, no matter what outside forces talking about us. Where I also, I remember I've mentioned about being body shamed, I've been bullied several times, and I've stayed in that comfort zone where I wasn't able to talk about it to anyone. I've never been able to talk about it. It's like whenever I used to be in that phase, I used to talk to myself. But this is a calling for others that you don't need to stay quiet. You can talk about whatever you are going through right now. It's your journey. Maybe people will talk about you, but go after your dreams. You'll fall down many times, but when the dreams is bigger, nobody can stop you. And yes, so I'm very happy, Crystal, that I've worked with you with all the offers. It's such a blessing for me. I'm really honored to be part of this book. So thank you so much. And I know the readers will find maybe their own story. Like I said, one line can change your whole subconscious mind, your whole life. Just one line, and it can just rephrase your definition about life. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your wisdom that you're sharing. I'm sure and I know it will inspire many, many people, many readers. Thank you. Tracy, what is your intention with your chapter, with the book, for the world, for the reader?
I would love people to go away with more self-love, Crystal. Self-love is a gift to us, and then it becomes a gift to others because we live better, and self-love is totally okay. It would make the world a better place. If people love themselves more, it's really okay. It's really okay to have self-love and lots of it. We become a more beautiful person, easy to be around, and a soul that shines and wants to be loving towards others. So self-love is really a gift. I want people to get that. And the other thing is the tips to improve relationships. and work on improving their relationships and learn more about relationships, because there is a way of why they last and why they don't. So if people learn more, then so many relationships can be saved and deepen and last long time. And the other thing I shared in my chapter is something that I'm passionate about, because it really is changing lives. And it's a glutathione breakthrough. And if people want to change the way they look, live, or feel, they truly can. They very much truly can. In 15 months, this is in 50 countries. And it's a beautiful thing to see. So people can change the way they look, live, or feel. They truly can. So I'd like them to realize that as well.
That's very empowering. And I love that message around self-love. And if we love ourselves, we can get that reflection back from others and just share more love all around, right?
Yes. Self-love all the way makes for a better person, right?
Exactly. Thank you, Tracy. Let's move to Elizabeth. What is your intention for the reader, for the world with this book?
My intention is to support as many people as possible to really recognize that we are an unlimited being. We're not this limited self. We all identify with this little individual, you know, you're Crystal, I'm Elizabeth, but we actually have so much more potential and capacity to create whatever we choose to create. We've got this multifaceted aspect to us that we can, you know, I call it the superconscious. So we can choose to experience whatever we want. And what we often do is we choose to experience our limitation accidentally, because we don't realize that we have this high capacity, this full awareness that we can access and tap into. So I really want to set the intention to show people that they're not broken, they're not limited, that they have the opportunity and the choice to create whatever they want to create, and that they can make that choice every single day. So it's really just getting that our infinite beings with full potential and opportunity to create whatever we want. Can you imagine how many, like the opportunities and the way the world would be if we all recognize that we just have to make the choice to live the life that we love and live our true nature and purpose, right? The whole world
So
would change.
powerful. Exactly. And what I love about your chapter is that you're demonstrating that, you know, you found through the methodologies that you're teaching, you found the love of your life. So you're a living example.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm going to bring everyone back for a final. Is everybody back? No. Whoops. What am I doing? Now everyone's back. Bringing everyone back just for some final words, anything that is burning that you would love to say and how we're celebrating. I guess, yeah, I have one thing, but if there's anything else you want to say, just literally one sentence before we close up, feel free to unmute yourself and go for it. Yes, Elizabeth.
It's actually more than one little bit, but for those that may be watching and going, you know, like are interested in writing, I think that this was a really beautiful way to dip my toe in. I know I've got books in me, and I use this opportunity to take, you know, to dip my toe into what it's like to be an author, to publish, and the connection that everyone's had and the opportunity to do it as a collective has been a beautiful, beautiful experience. So thank you so much, Crystal. It's been lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Jenny.
Yeah. I echo what Elizabeth said. You know, the writing process has been rather cathartic for me to have evolved in who I am. I had 2 chapters that I was going to put out. as a result of this writing process. And I couldn't believe how it all was meant to be. That's how it came to be. The path is set. And the second thing I want to share is that when you're focused on being in alignment with yourself, you can't go wrong. There is no wrong step. There's no misstep. It's all in the pursuit of finding out who you are and what it means to have that in alignment. And when people hear the word alignment, they feel, oh, this is too woo-woo, it's too hard, it's too much work. When actually it means, how do you fall in love with yourself? How do you find your vibration? How do you find your frequency? You can spin it in any way that you want, whichever word you are feeling the resonance with. That's totally your call. It doesn't have to sound or smell like anybody else's terms. Just yours. So whatever that word is, find it and find that space in you where you're falling in love with yourself again and you're really having that relationship that you've always wanted. And
Yeah, very well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a theme, falling in love with yourself. Be who you are. Follow the synchronicities, and you are more powerful than you think you are, because you can create if you choose. Anybody else? Any final words of wisdom? Yes, Nandita.
So we are celebrating falling in love with ourselves. It's Love Day, my friends. So it's a reminder, yes, and I love you all, and I love myself. So it's a reminder to anyone listening, love yourself. It's not just a humble request, because when you will see that, when you fall in love with yourself, it's so divine. Because I've been in that place, I'm still in that place. So raise your vibration, my friends, because today is your time. Has started right now for you. It's not later on, it's not tomorrow, it's now. So take the action right now and just be in love with yourself no matter what. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for all of your words of wisdom. Thank you for watching. For those of you who are watching, if you haven't gotten our book yet, if you're in the US, you'll probably be asleep right now. But yes, there is the link below where you can get it. The links for the US and Canada will go live at 9 a.m. EST or just before. Thank you for everyone who has already purchased this. Come and join us in this self-love movement in order to spread more love into the world. And if you're feeling like you would love to write your own book, you want to come into an experience like this and really have that cathartic experience, have the transformation to become more magnetic and really embody your message and your essence, then reach out to me. We've got always something going on. Currently, it's Beyond Certainty is the next book title. And leave us a review for this one. And if you do, I will and you put a screenshot beneath this video on whichever platform you're watching it on. You'll go into a drawer and you will receive a one-on-one session with me where we explore your writer archetype and how you can activate your writer archetype. So if that's of interest to you, go and make sure you review our book online on Amazon and send a screenshot through. And I know the other authors actually also have some prizes to give away for anyone who is leaving us a review, because we want to encourage that if you're leaving a review about this book, Amazon is sharing it with more people. And that's what we want. I mean, look at these amazing transmissions that have just been shared here by the authors. Go into their worlds, reach out to them, see what resonates and how you too can be activated even more to step into deeper self-love and deeper connection with yourself. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you all for being here. It's been such a joy. And yeah, let's keep the celebrations happening. Let's keep sharing this incredible book.